two people involved with exchanging rounds there. And then it became one person and potentially a Secret Service agent, is what one report had. And now we are hearing of a suspect's car being stopped a county away as they were leaving the area. So this
Multiple
shows
stories.
how rapidly a story can evolve, how much the story can change as more details become known. But it also shows all the miscues that were had with the earlier reports. And so that's why it's so very important to actually not speculate as to what this means as far as the greater meaning as far as threats to the president or failure by Secret Service. We just don't have the details early on to be able to say any of that. You have to wait until those details come out before you start really analyzing what's going on.
No, that is true. It's trying to decipher what is a fact from not so much so, and what's going on in the incident as it happens in real time. And that's what we do here on Live Now from Fox, react to what's happening in real time as it happens. And I do want to put up.
All right, so we're waiting for the press conference. Multiple different stories. You know, first it was two people shooting at each other. Then it seemed like it was targeted for Trump, and barrel of the gun popping through the bushes. Secret Service engaged them. Then this car took off and they stopped it on the highway. Multiple different stories, and I don't know what's what. I really don't know what's what. This was some CNN couple.
In the area of the shooting, sources say they recovered a backpack and a semi-automatic rifle. It was described as an AK-47 in the preliminary reporting, and a GoPro camera. The last piece is very interesting because it suggests, if there was such a camera there, that this individual may have wanted to record himself.
That's just strange, man. That's why it's like the whole thing of like it's just two people at each other has to be more than that. For those that don't know or haven't heard yet, this shooting took place in West Palm Beach, Florida, at one of Trump's golfing places, where shots were fired. Shots were fired. They say the person had an AK-47. It's the Trump International Golf Course, West Palm Beach. They're about to do a press conference. Agents opened fire because apparently they saw what appeared to be a barrel of a gun. And there's just been so many different stories coming out of what happened. Was he targeted? Was he not? That's the place right there, Trump International Golf Club. And these are some of the items that CNN is saying was found, supposedly.
In the area of the shooting, sources say they recovered a backpack and a semi-automatic rifle. It was described as an AK-47 in the preliminary reporting, and a GoPro camera. The last piece is very interesting because it suggests, if there was such a camera there, that this individual may have wanted to record himself in the first person doing the shooting. So a lot of questions to be answered. Is the suspect, they have the right person? Is that the right car? The weapon that they have has to be processed for evidence and ballistics. If there's video on that camera, if in fact it was recovered as we are told, what will that tell them? But that is what we are seeing right now.
So crazy.
Very true. The amount of people on there, they did shut down I-95 at 7:14, and it is just about 4:30 Eastern time, the expected time of this update. So, Ken, we will take you out to this as soon as it happens. But until then, we're just going to continue our conversation. They are going to be updating likely Palm Beach County Sheriff. I don't know if any Secret Service agents will be on hand, spokespersons, people for them. What do you hope to learn? What do you hope to take away from this press conference? What questions might you have on the top of your mind for this press conference?
The basic facts. I'm looking to hear what the basic facts are, because as I pointed out, this story has evolved and the details have changed so much that we don't know the basic facts right this second. What we know that there supposedly was an AK-47 found in the vicinity, a GoPro found in the vicinity, a backpack found in the vicinity. We also know that we have a car stopped here on 95 based upon the bolo of a description of the vehicle. All of those are things that we think we know, but hopefully we will get the basic facts.
Now check this out. I don't know if this is true. This is a far play. According to this one person that posted this, is this correct? They did a map from where the International Golf Club is, the Trump International Golf Club, to where the suspect's vehicle was stopped. And by the way, if you haven't seen that, because I showed it on my political channel, make sure you subscribe to the political channel if you're interested in that stuff. I just came here now, so this is breaking news. I wanted to cover it because, this is just everybody's probably wants to know about this. This is the suspect's vehicle right here. Wilson sent me the tweet where they stopped them. And this is also, somebody posted this on Twitter, that this is the map. This is a pretty long way. It's 40 minutes away. I guess they caught the suspect, supposedly. I don't know if that's... I'm going to have to confirm this location with where they got stopped on the highway. But that's pretty crazy. They're right. And yeah, why the GoPro and all this equipment with them? Multiple conflicting reports about this was just an incident between two people. That's what I thought it was at first, but also it was kind of sus because this just happens to happen right outside of his international golf club. And I don't know, it doesn't make any sense.
A ton of it.
I hope they give us some answers.
Due to the fact that the RNC, the Republican National Convention, was coming up so very soon. So people were making sure that that event was very secure. Do we expect, though, to hear from Secret Service at this press conference? Would that be something that you might expect or would hope for?
Andy, I don't know at this point. I mean, Secret Service has taken a beating over how they handled the protection of President Trump there in Pennsylvania. They've taken a beating over their actions there and their preparation for that. And so the Secret Service, because they were responsible for the protection of the president, there was some thought that they were not present there at that initial press conference because they were a party to the incident itself. That is, they had a shared responsibility for that protection. So as far as whether or not they will be here today, I just don't know. It'll be interesting to see who is here and who is not here as far as Secret Service goes. But who knows? We'll see here in a few minutes, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully they step up in a matter of moments. You imagine they're trying to get as many details as they can, what they want to tell the public about what they know and also what information they might need close to the vest. All right, I do want to put up this other tweet as we are in the middle of a heated campaign between...
So we just turned on the bot. Sorry about that. I didn't have the bot on. So the link is in the chat. Because I cover some of the political stuff on the other page, but because this is like a big story that everybody wants to know about, I just jumped on here. They're having a press conference. Let's see what they're saying here.
First, I am safe and well. Nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender. I always love you for supporting me. A similar context quote from him after the rally in Pennsylvania saying he will fight.
Wow.
That was kind of the rallying cry after that assassination attempt.
This is
I'm not going to get anything into political here with you because that just coming out talking about how he is safe. Let me ask you, because I was talking to Scott Duffy and we didn't know. He said they would likely keep the protectee in a singular location at Mar-a-Lago, but then we saw the motorcade on the move as well. Don't know if Trump...
Okay, so this just came out a couple of minutes ago. Thank you, Lisa, for tagging me in this. This Twitter page says Florida State Representative John Snyder, I don't know if that means Republican, but John Snyder says Trump golf course suspect is a white male in his mid-60s. And so somebody replied and said, how does he know that? Or how does he know? Yeah. And they replied back, his father is the sheriff of Marion County where the suspect was arrested. So I don't know if that's true. Kind of interesting if so. And I'm wondering, was there ever two people? Because the story originally started with it's two people shooting at each other. But now it seems like we're just talking about one person. I'll play this little clip, too, for those that missed it. Sean Hannity had spoken with, I guess, Trump 3 times since this happened. Let me see here.
A lot of time to play golf, so I didn't. Anyway, so long story short is President Trump, they were on the 5th hole. They were about to go up to putt. and the way Steve Witkoff. Now, just as a little bit of background, Arthel, I happened to go to breakfast with Steve Witkoff and another friend of mine this morning, and I was invited to play golf. They happen to be really good golfers. I don't have a lot of time to play golf, so I said thank you, but I'm not going to go out on the golf course and get killed out there. But long story short, so they were playing, they were on the 5th hole. And the way Steve described this, the way the president described it, they both had exactly the same story, which was that they heard pop, 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 pop. And Steve went into great specificity and great detail as to what happened right after. Within seconds, the Secret Service pounced on the president, covered him. You had snipers with tripods. They knew the direction where the shots had been fired, and they had eyes on the location where the shots had been fired. And long story short, they were. I have confirmed with both the president and with Mr. Witkoff that the gun has been found. They identified it as an AK-47. And thanks to Secret Service drone video coverage, they were able to identify one individual involved in this shooting getting into a car after dropping the AK-47. And my understanding, according to both of them, is that that car has been identified, and I believe it's been surrounded. Whether or not that person has been apprehended or not, I don't know. This happened in a matter of seconds. A little more color, a little bit more details on this is that when they got on top of the president, immediately what is called a fast cart that I believe has steel reinforcement and protection was able to whisk the president away. And then the Secret Service immediately sprung into action. They had eyes on where the shooting had occurred. I saw the New York Post report that these were two people shooting at each other outside the course. I do know, and they did confirm that the shots were outside of the course, but certainly seemingly within range of the former president. So we don't have any details on any of that. They don't know that part. I only know the part of what they experienced while they were playing golf at Trump International in West Palm. Thankfully, the president is safe. Steve Witkoff is safe. The Secret Service apparently acted with incredible speed and.
So another report, and Colin posted this. They're saying that, okay, the Secret Service opened fire after they saw a suspected gunman at the Trump International Golf Club in Florida. According to Fox News, it was the Secret Service who opened fire. Fox News can now report that it was the Secret Service that fired the gunshots at the suspected gunman outside of the former President Trump's golf club. The Secret Service saw a man carrying an AK-47. The man with the AK-47 did not fire. It was the Secret Service that opened fire. The man dropped the rifle and took off running. So I guess that's where maybe he got in his vehicle and took off.
That man did not fire the shots. It was the Secret Service. That suspect went running, and we're now told he's in custody.
Okay. Wow.
Of course, you can't do that. And so it becomes a more difficult situation, but less difficult at the same time, in that you're not going to have people approach the president without being seen on a golf course. But at the same time, golf courses are huge, and a person can take a sniper fire from a 1,000 yards away and deliver accurate fire if you're a well-trained sniper. So, it is a difficult environment. But again, that's something that Secret Service would be better to answer than I would. It's outside my area of expertise.
No, of course. And it's interesting just to note the kind of protective nature of the Secret Service versus the FBI doing the investigating into maybe what transpired after the fact and looking into what's going on there. Let's just continue on, because we're also getting more reporting right now from Meg Kennard, AP reporter, talking about this new report coming in as an AK-style firearm was recovered near Trump's golf course where shots were fired. This, according to two law enforcement officials telling the Associated Press. So this is a somewhat big development about this, because we also heard from Meg Kennard within the last hour or so about the Secret Service and their interaction with this potential suspect, as well as the Secret Service agent opened fire at the suspected person with the weapon while Trump.
I really want to know if this is intended. I mean, some people don't believe in coincidences, right? So, I mean, this guy was like right outside of the golf club. There was some report that like they saw a barrel come through, I don't know, the bushes or the side of the wall or something. But I mean, the initial reports is that it was two people shooting at each other, but now they're saying there was no shots fired. It was just the Secret Service that fired at this guy. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards intentional. Like they intended target, especially with this backpack, like the video, like all this stuff in there. It wasn't just two people running into each other and having an issue.
True would show that this person was intending to film what they were doing, to take video of their activity. We know that in some incidents, usually hate crime incidents or terrorist type incidents, the person involved in it has actively streamed their actions. And so whether this GoPro was capable of interacting with the person's phone and might have gave them an ability to stream this, that would be really interesting if that turned out to be the case. But these details are showing that if true, that this is somebody who was intent on carrying out actions against the president, the former president, and that this would put it in the realm of another assassination attempt, as opposed to an exchange of gunfire between two people unassociated with the president, but in that vicinity. This becomes much more serious, much more an attack on the former president.
Yeah, much more sinister potentially as well, and we'll see what.
I was just scrolling and I saw the Babylon Bee, which is like a satire news. And this was kind of funny. FBI tries to distract from old Trump assassination attempt with new assassination attempt. Bro. Wild. But somebody did post on Twitter that supposedly FBI is on scene investigating. And she said, I wish that was comforting, but it's not.
But rifles give you the capability of firing at a distance. Plus, a rifle round is much more serious if it hits a person than a handgun round. Nonetheless, a .22 handgun can kill you if it hits you in the right location. But a rifle round, much more serious. But the AK-47 also, or an AK-style weapon, also usually has a much larger capacity magazine, and consequently would be more rounds towards a target. So, if I were intending to do something like this, I would rather have a rifle than a pistol. And it would give me the luxury of distance and the luxury of additional firepower, as well as the stopping power of that weapon. So, again, a much more serious attempt if it's a rifle than a handgun, but handgun.
Yeah, they're saying AK-47 was discovered in the bushes per local law enforcement. It's interesting, too, how these people, they get all armed up and they start getting ready to go to war. And the moment somebody else comes up with a gun, they take off running, or they off themselves or whatever. They're saying supposedly a Secret Service shot at this guy and he dropped the gun and started running. I guess took off on the highway, and this is his vehicle, the suspect's vehicle, when they pulled him over. You know, just like the Georgia school shooter, killed 4 people, gets approached. I think it was a resource officer. Somebody gets a gun on him, they turn themselves in or cower or whatever. So I don't know. To me, this definitely seems planned. I mean, especially with the equipment and the bag, and the GoPro, and I don't know. Insane, man. And it's I think they're just, one person does it, all these other people, copycats, start to do it. They're encouraged by it, and if they pull this off, they might be hailed as a hero by some people. Some of these lunatics. Look at the other attempt, the first attempt, where people were cheering it on and don't miss next time and blah blah blah. I think these people would do it just for the attention and the clout. I don't know.
With anyone else, did anybody direct them to do this? all this type of basic questions that you would ask or will be asked. However, there is a wrinkle here, is that if the person lawyers up when they read him his rights, he doesn't have to answer any questions, and you can't force him to do so. And so law enforcement will want to ask these questions as quickly as possible before the possibility of the suspect lawyering up and refusing to talk, refusing to answer those questions. Often a person in an incident like this wants their story to be known. They want it to be known why they took these actions. And so that might not be a potential wrinkle in this that we may not hear from the person. But, they still will try to hit them early with these questions to try to get answers before a lawyer tells them don't say anything.
I wonder if the person's a Swiftie. Maybe they need to look into that. The Swifties. Investigate him. Look into that shit. Because he, she endorsed Kamala. And then I think he made a recent post saying, I don't know if it's a real post. I saw it on Twitter. I always like to try to verify, but I don't have Truth Social. But they said something like he said he hates Taylor Swift. Maybe one of the Swifties. The Swifties go hard, man. Those people don't play. The Swifties, one of the hardest group of people I've seen online. They'll hunt you down. They'll track you, find your family. Those Swifties are, woo, crazy, man. I saw this one girl that ran her off of the internet because she's a Swiftie, but she was like a Trump supporter. And so she started expressing that and her views, and, they didn't agree. So they went and, oh, man, they ran her ass off. She had to make her profile private. She had to take her picture down. Is this somebody to get ready? We're keeping an eye on it. She had to take her picture down. She changed her name, everything, man, everything. That profile was gone. I was like, God, dude, these people don't play. Jeez. The Swifties. I don't want no smoke with the Swifties. Kills it, F the Swifties. But yeah, rumors are supposedly that it's somebody white, male, 60s. I don't know. We'll have to see if it's true. And the ABC whistleblower, I covered it just now on the political channel. We just went over the documents they released. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm wondering if it's gonna, continue. Is it gonna push forward? They dropped it online, and basically they were saying there's biases within the network, and that supposedly too, I had heard that she had sample questions, and that the sample questions were the actual questions. I don't know if that's true, but the FBI has responded to West Palm Beach, Florida, and is investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of former President Trump. Wow.
Attempted assassination of the former president, as, of course, the former president is safe after the initial reports were gunshots in his vicinity. Stepping to the podium, hopefully right now, Palm Beach County Sheriff and much other maybe Secret Service on hand for this, but they're not at the podium as of yet. But this is a big developing news story. FBI investigating this incident as an attempted assassination of the former president. Nearly 2 months since, more than 2 months since what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. Ken, I'm going to bring you back in because we're still waiting for this press conference a little bit, but there's new information right now. And let's just hang with it, Ken. They're stepping to the podium. Let's listen in to this update from Florida law enforcement right here on Live Now from Fox.
Okay, so we're just waiting. They're about to get started.
Sorry to hold you all up. We're waiting for the representative from the Secret Service and the FBI.
Secret Service.
We've been around too long. Yeah, I talked to them.
Well, it's a good thing the other lady stepped down. Cheadle, whatever her name is. I mean, I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, who knows who's took over? I think there was somebody taking her, stepping in the meantime. FBI supposedly investigating this as another, an attempted assassination. Wow. FBI confirms they're investigating what appears to be an assassination. This is insane. Insane. They're going to have to up this guy's security, or, I mean, you know, Secret Service even more, because I don't see anybody else attempted to be assassinated. Like, they're not trying at anybody else but Trump, it seems like. Jeez. He's going to need the military with his ass.
Do that.
So they're waiting because they're going to have some Secret Service person there, and not sure who else. This is insane. I really didn't think I'd be back here again with like a similar story again to this guy being maybe potentially, you know, an attempt to be assassinated. But let's see. Let's hold out for the details because you know, there's been a lot of shifting information, shifted multiple times. Crazy.
The FBI. And so I would hold off on saying that it's because it was an attempted assassination that the FBI was involved. The FBI would be involved anyway.
I gotcha. All right, let's stay with us, Ken. I'm just going to dive back into this audio just so people can hear what's going on. We'll take you out to this in full, and I'll have you react right after. But let's listen into this breaking news event. The FBI investigating this assassination attempt against Trump in Florida on this Sunday.
Cannot believe we're back here again, man. Oh, if you guys could help me out with the like button, please, I'd appreciate it. Helps out with the algorithm. Get me in the good graces of the algorithm. We're back here again. Let's see what else I can find. Yeah, FBI says they're investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of former Donald Trump. Bro, what is going on? They need to figure out these people's connections. Is it just random people wanting to assassinate, or? And yeah, I want to know who this person is, the identity, their background, their history. And this is, I can't even believe it. It's only been 2 months, I guess, since the last attempt. If this is an attempt. 2 months. I mean, bro, I'd be paranoid. I think Trump needs to carry some shit on him, too. Imagine that. Trump need to carry, too. Oh, my gosh. The chat's crazy. Chat's going nuts. Well, I just want the information, man. I want. Oh, here we go. What's going on here?
Push the rifle muzzle through the fence line. The suspect, believed to be connected to a shooting, was taken into custody after they shut down I-95. The FBI now investigating this as an attempted assassination against the former president. And this comes just over 2 months since what transpired in Butler, Pennsylvania, the attempted assassination at a rally in that campaign. So let's just continue to watch this here on Live Now from Fox unfold in real time as they will give us what we know, some concrete information. We'll hear from Palm Beach County Sheriff, hopefully, and also representatives of the Secret Service. Let's listen into this here on Live Now from Fox as they will hopefully step to the podium soon.
Okay, I'm back. Man, maybe it's because of his cat and dogs comment. Somebody snapped. They didn't like that shit.
They're working on it.
call to see if she's heard about this.
All right, looks like this is still going to take some time. So, Ken Gray, if you're still with me, we're going to continue just our conversation a little bit, monitoring this. And we might just, as we start, as I ask a new question, that's usually the timing of it as they will step up to the podium. So we'll get to them briefly, but we're going to continue our conversation just about this assassination attempt against Trump as the FBI now investigating it. And you kind of mentioned some of the criteria. Lay it out for us again as we head into this press conference. What an assassination attempt is, the definition, and what the FBI is doing now that we know that that's what they believe it might be.
The FBI is responsible for assault on federal agents, and they are also responsible for assault on the president or the vice president or foreign officials. And so this is why the FBI is going to become the lead federal agency, despite that the Secret Service is responsible for protection of the president, investigations or for attempts or actual assassinations fall under the FBI. But right now you are looking at
where the wigs
where they are waiting for the responsible party, all the different agencies that have a piece of this.
Where the wigs holler?
Present there, they all will want to be part of the.
Peter, thank you, man. How you doing?
And so that's why we've got this delay, is waiting
How's
for
the weather out there, bro? I mean, we're
some
in
of
the
the heads of the agencies
vicinity,
to show up here to be able to
been nasty
speak to
and
this
raining
matter, and also to make sure that they have the latest details before they go forward. You don't want to show up and try to provide information that you have details of that you cannot share, or that you're not in the position to share at that point. And so that's why we're seeing a delay right now, is just simply getting the people there and making sure that they have the facts that they can share at that moment.
Yeah, that is a very good point. And I believe I asked you if we thought it would be Palm Beach, the sheriff, or Secret Service, and what they might be. And of course, we didn't know at that point, but it appears that Secret Service would be on hand from this. And maybe how much of an information can we gather from the fact that they are likely going to speak, and how much information can the Secret Service give? Because like you mentioned, they are in terms of protecting the individual, the FBI in terms of the investigation. What kind of details does it tell you that the Secret Service might provide an update?
Let me remind you that their
Peter,
title is
so
Secret Service. And consequently, they're not going to give you a lot of details about what they.
They're a little behind on the.
We're not going to go there, all right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, and we'll be good. So here we go. All right, 1:30 this afternoon. Call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Because we're in constant contact with them all the time, we were notified of that, and we had units here that immediately sealed off the area. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers. And we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a 8K-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of. So those are being processed right now. The Secret Service agent that was on the course did a fantastic job. What they do is they have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off. So that's what we know about the investigation. We have somebody in custody right now that is a potential suspect. We got a little bit more work to do on it, but as we usually do, as soon as we decide that we're going to book him into the county jail and the charges that he's going to be booked into, we'll get those to you and we'll get a picture of him and we'll get you his background. So now I'm going to turn it over to the representative of the Secret Service, and he's going to make a brief statement.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank all of our law enforcement partners, to include the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and the Martin County Sheriff's Office, for their involvement today. Former President Donald Trump is safe and unharmed following a protective incident shortly before 2 p.m. on Sunday at Trump International Golf Club at West Palm Beach. The U.S. Secret Service personnel opened fire on a gunman located near the property line, and this matter is under investigation. I'll turn it over to my partners over at the FBI.
That's it?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Veltri. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Miami field office. The FBI has assumed the role as the lead federal law enforcement agency in the investigation of the incident that occurred earlier today at Trump International Golf Course here in West Palm Beach, Florida. We've deployed a number of resources, including investigative teams, crisis response team members, bomb technicians, and evidence response team members as well. What we need right now is for the public to avoid the area around the golf course. We will continue to support this investigation with the full resources of the FBI, alongside our partners with the United States Secret Service and the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, as well as Martin County Sheriff's Office and state and local law enforcement. I would ask that if anyone has any information that may assist with this investigation, to contact our tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI or at tips, that's TIPS .FBI.gov. Thank you.
David?
Hi, I'm Dave Ehrenberg, State Attorney for Palm Beach County. I want to thank Sheriff Bradshaw and our partners at the local, state, and federal levels. I'm here because our prosecutors are currently working up warrants and a motion for pretrial detention for the suspect. In that way, he will be kept in custody. But our filing of these warrants and charges at the state level does not preclude federal charges that could be coming. But in the meantime, it looks like the warrants and the pretrial detention motion will happen first. And again, I want to thank the cooperation we've had with our federal partners and at the local level. And thank you all for being here today.
Okay, we're going to make these pictures available to you. It'll show you a picture of the backpack and the rifle. And there's also a GoPro on the fence there where he was intent on filming what was going on. Even though we're going to have to secure a couple of areas around the golf course here, the public doesn't need to panic. We know that we got a post office, a library, and a school down the street. So we'll make it convenient for you to get to all the places you need to go, get your kids to school, get them over here to the post office or wherever else you need to go. It's safe. There's no more danger here, and we'll make it very convenient for you. So having said that, we're going to take a very limited amount of questions, and you can direct them to who you want to answer the question.
Sheriff, did this individual make any statements as he was being detained?
No statement right now as far as his involvement in the incident, and there's further investigation to be completed.
What was his demeanor like?
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe the Secret Service gentleman answered. I misunderstood, or couldn't quite understand. So there was a rifle. So one of your agents saw on the golf course a rifle pointing to a fence. Was it a chain link? Okay, so he saw that, the agent.
That is correct, yes.
And the president or the former president was on the course behind him. How close?
It was 1 or 2 holes behind.
1 or 2.
That because the bubble moves through the golf course, so our agents will get there first, clear it. He noticed that the rifle was pointed out.
Wow.
Our agents engaged. We are not sure right now if the individual was able to take a shot at our agents, but for sure our agents were able to engage with the
He
subject.
did?
I don't know that.
Doesn't appear so.
Is there a moment?
Yep. Now,
How far away was the president? How far away was Donald Trump when this gentleman was caught and stopped?
probably between 300 and 500 yards, but with a rifle and a scope like that, that's not a long distance.
For the Secret Service, how far was your agent from the would-be assailant?
That I'm not sure right now. We're still looking into it.
Reports of the 4 rounds of ammunition were fired. Were all 4 of those from your agent?
That is correct. 4 to 6. We're not sure yet.
Was there a long distance? Explaining why?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
WPF 25, I was wondering how this was able to happen, and for future reference, is there any up security in the golf course?
I didn't hear all that. Say that one more time and talk up a little bit.
So how was this able to happen, and for future reference, is there any up security in the golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right? And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course surrounded. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service.
Y'all need to up that shit. Nobody's coming for Biden. Sorry.
So I would imagine the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter. But the Secret Service did exactly what they should have done. They provided exactly what the protection should have been, and their agent did a fantastic job.
Which direction was the shrubbery where he was? North, south? I guess east, west, and south is the road?
The layout of the golf course, you've got 3 holes, 5, 6, and 7. All right? One of them runs parallel to Summit Boulevard. One of them runs parallel to Congress. And he was in an area in the shrubbery where he could see both holes. So the president was another hole back, which means he's about between 400 and 500 yards away.
So he was on the golf course?
Oh, he's on the golf course, yeah, but he's back a ways.
For the Secret Service, have you guys changed at all the way that you guys are protecting former President Donald Trump? This is now a potential second attempt on him. Can you just elaborate on how things have changed and what you make of all this?
Yes, the
The stairs are coming for Biden.
We have increased the amount of assets that we've supported, so we live in danger times. So yes.
We're done with questions right now. There's really nothing more for us to add. I just want to tell you, the Secret Service and the FBI and the State Attorney's Office have been fantastic to work with. And I can tell you right now, our agency with this real-time crime center was fabulous. That's how we got the guy. We started out with, we don't know anything, to where we had a tag, we had a vehicle description, and we got an area where we saw the person. So be proud of your law enforcement. All right, thanks, folks. We'll get back to you.
Where on 95 was it that?
Did they say which hole he was at? Did they say which hole he was at? They have a virtual tour on the website, and they have this map here. I might rewind it real quick and see if they have. This is a really blurry image, but basically Trump was like, I think 1 or 2 holes away from where because the Secret Service goes ahead. They mentioned something about a bubble. Like, I don't know. I guess that's some type of protection. And so they check out that's crazy how they have to do that. Like, they have to go ahead 1 and 2 holes ahead and like secure the perimeter. And when they went there, that's where they saw this barrel, the 5th barrel popping out of the bush. Where's the 5th at here? Man, this is a really bad image. Oh, the 5th is over here. Okay, in that corner. One of the worst images I've seen in a while. The 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes around like this. Trump was at okay. And then 6, 7. So the guy was like, it seems like this has to be targeted. I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't be. The guy had like a bag and GoPro, and it's like he was waiting for Trump to walk up and walk into position. And luckily, the Secret Service saw it and they fired. Let me look at this virtual tour real quick. Virtual course. They got a whole map. The website basically instructs you, like, if you want to get the best spot on Trump, like, here it is. They got a virtual tour and maps and hole 7. Hold on, let's see. Where's 5? Wish I could make this bigger. Like a little. The 5th hole. Oh. So, yeah, it looks like, and Trump would have been at what? He would have been standing like at the 3rd or 4th, like you're saying? Let me see, the 3rd. That's a really, really sneaky thing to do, to position yourself outside of the golf club where there's, trees, vegetation, all kinds of plants and shrubs, and I mean, anybody could be hiding out in the bushes to get some type of, That's hole 3, and then this is hole 4. Let me see. I don't know, man. He might have to stop. He might have to stop golfing. I don't know. 5, 6, 7 holes. Okay, let's go to 5 again. And I wonder where this is in relation to the map. 5, and then 6. See the whole. See this wall. I wonder if it was like along this wall. Oh yeah, look. There's all this like fence line. So this is hole 6, and they have all this fence line here, I guess. That's hole 6, and then hole 7. Damn. They say he needs to build a wall over there. Let's see what they say. Also, they released the pictures too.
Traffic stops, as anyone in law enforcement will tell you, can be some of the most dangerous enforcement operations out there. This one, fortunately, did not turn into a dangerous operation. They have a lot of details, and it's fascinating to me that the FBI has assessed this was an attempted assassination already. Now, one could make certainly an app based on just a picture of everything you see there. That'd be a logical conclusion. But it's possible that when they took him into custody, he may have said something too, which kind of removed all doubt.
Yeah.
It's interesting how fast they moved on this. But clearly, we've gone from a situation where initially there were reports of shots in the vicinity of President Trump. Honestly, shots being fired in southern Florida, not an exceptional sort of thing. That happens. All right. So you can't say that was an assassination attempt. But now it's really got down to, yes, it was clearly somebody was there. And he had an assault rifle and an AK-47 with a scope. Very interesting combination. AK-47, just the iron sights.
With
not
a scope.
The best. I know there are some people who love them, but they're not a great long-range weapon, generally speaking. With a scope, you can add a little bit more distance on it. Maybe 300, 400 meters. Fairly accurate. With the AK-47, because of the type of weapon it is, you could do some rapid fire. So he would probably compensate for the accuracy of the weapon with a lot of firepower, a lot of rounds going downrange. 7.62 caliber. So it's a heavier round than say your 5.56, like you'd see with an AR-15, and that may be a decision based on the Secret Service protection and everything else, that he wanted a round with more stopping capability, more penetration capability. So he was looking at the volume of fire that would be fired. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if those backpacks, they find some extra magazines, and he was planning on engaging them for quite some time as best he can. Of course, the GoPro, fascinating. The GoPro, we've seen
that's
that
insane.
with other terrorists.
Yo, you see this picture? Like, you realize what's going on? This guy had he's through the fence. He has his gun like lined up through there. Oh, this is the ceramic, I guess, because I was wondering what was up with the ceramic thing. Was this to give him cover fire or something? What's up with this? I don't know. He has his gun lined up, and he has a GoPro to like what? To capture this shit? Like to record himself trying to kill this guy? What?
More details about it, because like you mentioned, the initial report coming in from the Trump campaign that there were gunshots in the vicinity of the former president Donald Trump while he was on the golf course, something he does very, very frequently. Let's talk about that AK style rifle as well, and the scope. They mentioned the kind of range of that 300 to 500 yards as well. Maybe how in just kind of layman's terms, how far is that, and what does the Secret Service do, kind of knowing the range of some of these weapons that might be out there?
Yeah, 500 yards, you could hit something. Certainly with a scope, if you've been out there, you've sighted it in. You got your, as we say, dope on the weapon, and you've done some other things, where you really, you got the correct range. You've compensated for the wind, stuff like that. Yes, you could possibly hit out to 500 yards. I don't know that you'd hit a bullseye out of 500 yards or something like that, but you could put rounds in the definitely in the vicinity of the president and everyone around him. And the thing with the AK-47 though, and we don't know if this one was more likely than not semi-automatic, not fully automatic, although that's very possible. If it was fully automatic though, you're not going to get a long-range shot. Fully automatic, it's just too tough to control the weapon. Semi-automatic though, he could put a significant volume of fire into the area of where the president would be. And that may have been his goal. And of course, with the AK-47, as I mentioned earlier, that's a little bit bigger round. That's a 7.62 millimeter round. That's bigger than what you see with the AR-15, which is normally a 5.56 millimeter round. There's a little bit different philosophy in terms of the U.S. versus the. This was essentially a Russian weapon. Initially, I don't know where this one was made, but it originally came from Russia. The thought was that they wanted a heavier round with more stopping power. That's also a consideration, though, when you're looking at a president who's surrounded by Secret Service agents wearing body armor, and that may have been what he was thinking, which is he wanted a heavier round, more. That he was going to compensate for the fact that you got a relatively less accurate weapon than some other weapons out there, but you have a heavier round. That may have been his thinking on that. Of course, I will tell you too. There's a number of folks out there, certainly violent extremists that they love AK-47s, and I always find that rather interesting. I always find it fascinating when someone is anti-government and they're anti and they decry communism at every other turn, and then they say and they love the AK-47. I go, well, if you ever looked at where the weapon actually came from, but you will hear that kind of.
It cut out.
Yeah, of course, Alan. The feed going a little bit in and out right here, but we're going to stick with it because we're getting new information. I want to put up this here on social media. This a post on X from John Schneider. He is a Florida state rep. He's the son of the Martin County sheriff, saying the suspect in custody related to the Trump shooting incident is a white male in his mid-60s. So we're getting these new incidents, and it's an interesting contrast to what we learned with Thomas Matthew Crooks, kind of the opposite end, a younger individual. What do we make of this new detail, and what are they kind of asking him during some of these interviews? Because you imagine they're trying to learn a little bit about him, about a possible motive, potentially anyone around him that might have known about this. What do we make of this latest detail, Hal?
One thing that jumps out at that, interesting, white male. Okay, I don't want to, speculation at this point what his motivations are. But one of course, one of the things would be, is it an ISIS-inspired thing? Is it something maybe tied to the Iranian plots? A white male in his mid-60s would be a less likely suspect. I wouldn't rule it out, but it'd be a less likely suspect with those particular motivations.
Probably not.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to figure out what exactly is this person's motivation. And we have seen assassination attempts from the far left and the far right. I would remind you that there was an attack. In fact, Representative Scalise was seriously injured, almost killed, or seriously wounded, almost killed in an attack on members of Congress when they were practicing for the the annual congressional baseball game. That he was a far left or far left assassin, and then of course we've seen far right assassins as well. So it could be anywhere on that spectrum. I can't tell you at this point. It would seem less likely, though, not impossible, but less likely that this person is tied to an Iranian plot. And of course, I say that because that is as an active plot to try and assassinate senior members of the Trump administration, and certainly they would probably, by inference, want to take out President Trump himself if they could. And so it would seem less likely. So that's all I can really, at this point, with that little of information, that's probably all I can really derive from that.
Yeah, the press conference didn't really get into the ideology of this individual. They didn't really detail that suspect, but that was coming in on social media from a Florida state rep talking about the son of a Martin County sheriff, talking about a white male in his 60s. We also heard from that press conference talking about the threat level at a high, and you mentioned just some of those international threats and threats from different countries overseas. Let's talk about this, because we're also seeing this post from J.D. Vance talking about he's glad that President Trump is safe. He spoke with him before the news was public. He was amazing, in good spirits, still don't know much, but he'll be hugging his kids extra tight tonight, saying a prayer of gratitude. This also coming in as Trump tells Brett Baer, I tell everybody I am fine. The Secret Service did a great job. He says he was playing golf on the course in West Palm on the 5th hole when shots rang out. He was put into the golf court and quickly driven back to the clubhouse. So though still very limited details were coming in, but let's talk about the high nature, the threat level that is on high. And this comes more than 2 months after what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. Can they get even higher? What does that mean, and how tight will security be around Trump and all the candidates going into November?
Andy, that's a fascinating question. And I really kind of go back to what the sheriff was saying in the press conference. He says, well, he's not the president of the United States, so we don't shut down the entire course. That may change a bit. I would say with this particular assassination attempt, you may see some modification in terms of how far they push out the bubble, as they say. You may see a number of other agencies having to come in and augment the Secret Service on a more frequent basis, from other parts of DHS, like Homeland Security investigations and certainly other 1811 special agents being brought into some of these protective details as well. One thing was interesting, you may recall from Butler, there was a lot of discussion about the failure of communications between the federal and the local level. That is not what I heard in this press conference. What I heard in this press conference, and probably that's because, look, that's where the president lives. This is where the president, he's there all the time, the former president, I should say. So they would have all those communications paths have established, firmed up. This is not something where he's going off to a rally someplace. This is something that this routine that they would have this, they'd be monitoring everybody else's communications paths. So that would be something went very quickly over to him. And that to me was an indicator of how this is going. But I do think the bubble's going to get pushed out. You may see less things like this with not just President Trump, but also with Vice President Harris, in fact, and the vice presidential candidates, that they may be doing less of certain things. So you may not see him playing golf, for example, as often. And certainly at all the events, I would imagine you're going to see a heightened security presence across the board. There'll be greater screening of anybody in the vicinity. would have rolled up on the green and they would have put him in the armored SUV. That would be my expectation. Usually they'll have what they would what they would call what the president they call the Beast, but usually some up armored SUV type of vehicle in these things is in very close proximity, and whereas I'm sure would irritate the golf to the club. I would imagine there are exceptions for when an SUV can go in there and tear up the turf. This would be one of those exceptions.
Yeah, the maintenance crew might not be happy.
But they may not be happy, but this is one of those exceptional situations. So I expect there'll be more information on that in terms of when he actually was put into an armored vehicle to provide him greater protection.
Yeah, and of course, it feels like we contrast what happened 2 months in Butler in a significant portion what we happened today in Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach, also about how he was led out of that rally in Butler. But we're going to get to that in a little bit, because I do want to talk to you about the bubble at this golf course, because there is maybe some credibility from the Secret Service. They said they did exactly what they should have done. And you talked about in terms of the bubble, maybe it should have been larger, maybe it will be larger. Are we surprised that it wasn't larger even at this point, knowing what we know happened 2 months ago, that they might have expanded the bubble even more because there was only a Secret Service member going a hole ahead? The whole golf course wasn't surrounded by Secret Service. Are we surprised that that wasn't in place already?
Well, obviously the Secret Service detected the threat early on, took him under fire, maybe before he even had a chance to fire the weapon. So in that regard, it was a success. One of the things they're probably going to be looking at is the bubble itself. The bubble was obviously, from what we can tell, was primarily within the golf course, within the fence line, if you will. What this individual did, from what we know, and I just have to take from what limited information we have, is that they had gone into the hedges, into the brush line, if you will, and had gone up to the fence, set up a shooter's nest, if you will, at the fence line with camouflaged by the hedgerow around the golf course. And I'm sure one of the discussions is going to be, should they put more people outside the fence line, possibly on the street, possibly even blocking off lanes of traffic. If you look at the White House, and it's interesting, I've been around long enough. I used to be stationed in the Washington, D.C. area. It used to be that you could literally drive by the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. That has been pushed back more and more. The fence line has been pushed back. You can't actually go to the inner fence line of the White House like you used to be able to, because they've had incidents. And they keep pushing back the perimeter further and further. So it makes it more difficult to actually get any way proximate to the White House. I would imagine you're going to see some of that philosophy being used in terms of pushing that bubble out more.
I'm muted. Oh my God. I've been talking so much. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I hate when that happens. But, yeah, I mean, I was just saying that this guy just kind of laying in wait, sneaking, hiding like a little weasel, and the nerve to put a GoPro, it's crazy. I mean, I just feel like they have to up this guy's security, man. I know they keep saying, well, he's not the current president and stuff, but like clearly he's a target, Let me see. I'm getting sent. I don't know if this is the suspect or not. There's this post that's gone viral on Twitter. And so
I wouldn't be surprised if they investigate if he paid away to leave West Palm Beach. The Bright Line is not far from the golf course or the airport.
That'd be interesting if they can track, did they have a plan, escape plan, run off? He had a GoPro on the fence. Okay. I don't know, man. Who is this? Carol Markowitz, born columnist at the NY Post and Fox News, host of Carol Markowitz show on iHeartRadio. I don't know. So this person, take it with a grain of salt, I guess, for now, until we can confirm. But this post here is going viral. And this woman claims, Carol, that this is a picture of the shooter. Somebody say he looked like a vegan in the comments. Oh my God, he's East Coaster. I don't have a name yet. 58 years old. The man's social media is filled with recruiting people to go fight. Well, how do you know? The man's social media is filled with recruiting people to go fight for Ukraine. Please, for Taiwan and anti-Israel content. More info soon. He's a Swiftie, wasn't he? This is wild. So what I was saying too is they're gonna have to up the security for Trump. I know that they're saying that like he's not the current president, so like they have a limited amount, but he's a clear target. A clear target. They're not targeting any of these other people. Nobody cares about this. Like as far as like that to that level, that they want. I don't know if this is just another deranged individual or is there more behind this. Let me see what else. Okay, I'm curious to see what else this woman posts. I guess she's saying this is him. Hook said those are ribs, not muscles. Nipples. Yo. Owen Wilson. Oh my God. So, well, yeah, like I said, take it with a grain of salt for now until we can confirm. The only reason I was questioning this picture is because you see this person behind this, like, I don't know what vehicle this is, silver, gray. And the picture that they posted earlier was this. The guy has a black SUV, but I mean, unless they made him come out and stand next to this vehicle or something, Maybe he was standing next to. I mean, it could be possible they had him. Maybe he came out and stood next to this one. This looks kind of grayish or something, I don't know. So we're gonna have to get a name on this guy. Donald Trump shooter. This was another picture from the scene of where the vehicle was pulled over and the suspect was arrested. I mean, it could have been, well, not this vehicle. It has black rims. Crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let me see if there's anything else I can sweep up real quick. I'm going to jump off for a bit because my mother just got here. So I don't know. Ross tweeted it. Oh, Ross tweeted it too? Raw alerts. Oh, he tweeted it too. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Raw alerts. I find this person pretty credible. He tweeted it as well. A newly released photo supposedly shows a suspect reportedly in his mid-60s, even though the lady said he's like 58 or 59, and captured by law enforcement after leaving Trump's golf course carrying an AK-47 style rifle equipped with a scope, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro. What is up with this guy? He had ceramic plates hanging on the fence to protect him from being shot in his nest. That's what I was wondering. What was the ceramic plates? Sounds like he may have training. He also had a Taylor Swift CD. I'm telling you, I don't know, man. I was as a Taylor Swift fan, got set off. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off for now, guys. I'm gonna hang out a little bit with the family, but if something else comes up, I'll come back on later. All right. Make sure you subscribe to Ikid Mel. Subscribe to the political channel as well if you want the politics stuff. Political channel. Join the mailing list, please, if you want email notifications. All right. I'm trying to get to 1,000. We got like 700 and something on the mailing list. And it's just me sending emails for notifications, like video note. That's it. There's no solicitation or anything like that. All right, so I'll catch you guys later. Be safe.